I'm in Elland, and if you don't know where that is, it's to the west of Leeds and slightly to the south of Halifax and what's a bit to the north of Huddersfield. It's not a massive town, but it's got a little gem, the Rex. And there are still cinemas like this right the way across the nation. The manager here is Peter Berry. Let's go and see if the auditorium lives up to the promise of the foyer. This obviously is the history of the Rex, isn't it?
It is, starting from when it was first built.
That goes 1912?
That's the opening shot.
It looks more like a chapel. Hang on, who's this young man here in rather ill-fitting trousers, in my opinion?
Well, yes, well, the style of the day was those.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's you, isn't it?
That's me.
Yes,
that's me many years ago.
Were you the manager then?
I was the manager then. That was the early 60s.
All this restoration that you've done. Oh, and I see here, when you got the carpet up, the original name is there, Central Picture House, isn't it?
That's right, that's in marble. That's still there under the carpet.
What a sort of bit of history in mosaic.
That's right.
And this, of course, is your great turning point, your great success story.
Shirley Valentine, yes. And that's underneath, you'll see the full house, which we had to take a photograph of the first full house we ever got.
I see. and was that when Shirley Valentine was shown?
Yes, yes.
Now, this is me. Another fine mess you got me into. You do have these little Laurel and Hardy festivals, don't you?
That's right. We've got 3 up to press. Long and Hardy evenings. We had a relation of Stan Laurel's come to them as well.
Did you?
Yes,
My
yes.
goodness. Do you know what they're singing at that moment with the ukulele and the pineapples?
Not really, no. No.
There is where they sing, Honolulu, baby, where'd you get those eyes?
You get to know something every day.
Yeah. Now, Peter, your connection with the Rex goes back.
A long time.
How far back?
I think the first time I came in here, I must have been about 6 to 7 year old. I came with my parents. And I sat in here and I thought, subconsciously, I thought, this is for me. This is what I want. And as soon as I saw that beam coming through that wall, that fascinated me. Yeah, you know, that really did get me going.
Just out of curiosity, can you remember what the film was?
No, I wasn't interested in film, really. Film was on screen, and I'm more interested in how it were getting onto the screen.
Peter is, in fact, the co-owner here. There's another chap who put money in the same time as Peter did some years ago to get the Rex up and running. He's also a big film fan. His name's Charles Morris. Now, the Rex, the cinema that we're in now, opened in, what was it, 1912, wasn't it?
Yes, one of the earliest purpose-built cinemas in the country that's still running. It's structurally unaltered virtually since it was built. It staggered on as a cinema till 1959, closed briefly, changed hands.
One of the companies who owned cinemas in Huddersfield bought it and was going to reopen it. They refurbished it and then they advertised for staff. Well, I came along and for chief's job, because it was my old original cinema, and I thought, God, great. I thought, if I get a job there, you know, I've cracked it. All films I saw there when we were young.
Opened up as cinema again till 1964. Went over to Bingo from then. A short period back on films in 1975 for 2 years. Back to Bingo till, we believe, about 1985. And then it lay derelict for 3 years until we took it in 1988.
But it's not only the Rex Cinema that's got a very long history. We've got a chap here who worked here and at other local cinemas as a projectionist, John Ambler. But your history goes back almost as far as this cinema. But can you tell me, John, what was your first connection with the Rex itself?
Coming to the children's matinees.
But when were you able to actually come up and work in this room, I suppose, and become a projectionist?
Well, officially, by age, I wasn't allowed. But I had a word with the chief projectionist and offered to do this for note and that for note. And I got going till I gradually got an odd night or two.
Did you ever get any, trouble with the audience?
They might just remonstrate a bit if they got carried away and you'd broken down. You fast aside on the screen, stating, please do not throw things at the operator. And they didn't.
But that must have been the period during the 50s when TV was coming into people's homes. Were you aware that perhaps that might be the coming thing and, well, films would be less popular?
It did enter your head that it might not last. It did last, and it put quite a few cinemas out of business.
Yes, but, I mean, are you a film fan? You're not just a technical chap, are you? Now, didn't you want to actually look at the screen?
You wanted to do, but you had no time.
Yeah, but didn't you perhaps come in and watch the film on your days off?
No, because I was courting a childhood sweetheart, and there was no ways the word cinema, film or nothing could be mentioned on the day off.
And yet a lot of people, of course, came to the cinema in those days to do the courting.
Yes, we used to walk around with the torch, and if they got carried away, we'd charge them a penny extra.
Gil, sorry to interrupt you while you're enjoying yourself, but what are you? Are you a trained pianist who finds you can come in and play the organ?
Actually, no musical training at all. I just fell in love with the organ at an early age and I taught myself to play.
Do you read music?
I can't read a note, I'm afraid, no.
Well, what do you do at the Rex then? You come in on what, Saturday nights?
Saturday night, I play before the film, during the interval. Occasionally I'm called upon when we have specialist film nights to possibly accompany silence. And then not reading music is actually an advantage because you make it up as you go along anyway. It's pure improvisation.
So when you see the chase, you go into the chase music.
That's right, yeah.
Do you find that it's the older crowd who are used to hearing the sound of the organ and they like to hear something like, I don't know, a selection from the Student Prince or something?
Oh,
like
very
that?
much so, yes. The older end do appreciate it more.
But do the young people ever come in and say, don't you do anything by the Spice Girls?
You get it occasionally, but that's on cinema wrong. You just can't do it. It wouldn't sound right.
Yeah. Well, play something that does sound right. Do you do something perhaps a little romantic for me?
Yes, certainly.
Welcome to Screen 2. Well, not exactly. This is my home cinema. It's been 30 years in the making. Now, what you can see all around me is a virtual small museum. At the back of me here, there's the typical Odeon sign, which was on most Odeon buildings. This one came from the Odeon Halifax when it was being converted to a bingo hall. Over here, we have cinemas around this area which have been pulled down, demolished. The gold drapes you can see surrounding the screen here, a friend of mine got them from the ABC at Ipswich, and they really do set the front of my little home cinema off. They enhance the screen, and of course they've been actually sat in a proper cinema for years. And now, back to John in Screen 1.
But it's not just people from Elland who come to the cinema here. Some of them come from miles. Harry, I know I'm keeping you, they're about to open up, but how far have you come to go to the cinema here?
Well, we've come from Manchester.
But hold on, Manchester's the other side of the Pennine chain.
It is, it is.
And
it
I
is.
mean, it's the next county.
Yes, but
Why come here to the Rex?
well, it's a lovely little cinema. We originated with the organ concerts that they have here. They've got a grand organ here.
Yeah.
And so we got to know that, and then our friends got to know about it. So we make a party up. We come here. We enjoy a meal at the fish and chip restaurant around the corner. So we make a trip of it.
So you get a fish supper as well?
Absolutely,
And a trip
yes.
to the pictures?
Yes.
Yeah, but come on, the cinema here, the Rex, I mean, it shows most of the latest films, doesn't it? You could see these in Manchester.
Well, you can, but you don't get the same atmosphere. I make the comparison, say, with the corner shop and the supermarket.
Ah, yes.
This cinema and the multi-screen, where here the proprietors got to know us. Yeah. It's a friendly atmosphere.
Yeah, so it's got character.
It has.
How
yeah.
often do you come then?
We come at least once a month.
What, about 8 or 9 of
Yes, yes. More sometimes.
Well, look out, he's coming to open the door now, so you better get in. He'll be selling you tickets and chocolates in a minute.
Right.
Here he comes. I've had my nice day out in Elland, and seeing as I'm at the Rex, well, I suppose I might as well use it. Don't want to lose it.